Brazil's president has announced a 60-day ban on using fires to clear land for livestock or farming. Jair Bolsonaro denies his policies have contributed to the destruction of the Amazon. Critics say he's partly to blame for easing environmental regulations to promote development. The fires this year have destroyed about 1.5 football fields worth of rainforest every minute of every day. Well, Nick Payton-Walsh made the harrowing journey to the front lines to give us this report.
Dusk isn't when you rest as the Amazon burns. It's when the day cools enough to give firefighters a chance. Everything we see in a bumpy hour's drive to nowhere turned to ashes in the last 4 days. This is how. A war that marches across the bush and into the trees when it can.
It feels a bit like the end of the world, doesn't it? And when flames rage like this, the firefighters actually have to pull back. There's nothing they can do, really, until the wind dies down.
Destruction that overshadows an entire branch of our species here.
The Tenyarim are an indigenous community, 1,000 strong, who say they legally own nearly 1 million hectares nearby.
The next generation will have a darker future, he says. Since this president came to power, these things are happening a lot more. President Jair Bolsonaro is keen to bring what he calls progress to the Amazon, even pushing to let these areas be commercially farmed for the first time. The raging fires, all of which here have burned since he pledged to send 43,000 troops, clear land for farming too. The sun rises again on a little bit less of this marvel.
The Tenyarim didn't want to be part of our world, but now it wants part of them.
All around are signs of what's fueling the inferno. Land cleared for cattle, so we can eat more beef. Logging and deforestation to enable crops like soy to grow line the busy roads. The firefighters that tackle the blaze here are 3 hours' drive from the nearest village. This is the land we flew over 4 days before, but the devastation is more final from the ground. Fires do occur naturally in the brush, like Bolsonaro says, but it was startling how nearly every policeman, firefighter or official we spoke to said very many are caused deliberately. To clear land, to farm, to alleviate poverty, or just make the rich richer. Yet they don't have the water here to put the fire out, only stop its spread. Damage limitation only, with the most basic tools on the front line of this global environmental crisis.
Well, senior international correspondent Nick Payton-Walsh joins me now from Porto Velho in western Brazil. And Nick, those were extraordinary pictures we witnessed in your report, and it really hits home the immense task that these firefighters have in front of them, putting out these fires by hand in some cases. From what you witnessed, is the only way to prevent further destruction to convince those with vested interests, the politicians, the farmers you mentioned, to actually change course?
Absolutely. I mean, you can see there, even if, for example, you manage to get the United States military, even Russia, China, all working together, potentially, to put these fires out, you would still have an enormous struggle to get enough water dumped on these parts of the Amazon to actually make an impact. These fires will continue to burn, and it's the pace of the burn that's the issue. Deforestation acts like a catalyst, makes it happen faster, makes it more likely, is often the reason why fires are initially started. There is no real scientific measure as to how much of this crisis is man-made, but as I said anecdotally, a lot of the people we talk to say these fires, many of them, are started by people as part of the deforestation process. So yes, obviously, if you see the challenges there for the small numbers of people in these vast expanses, it is just utterly back-breaking work for them. The only real way to slow this down is to get the politicians to stop telling the people that it's okay to set fire to the forest, to clear the land for agribusiness, to stop promoting agriculture as Brazil's way for economic growth, and potentially look at trying to find other ways to get people who set the fires to enrich themselves through other means. Christina?
All right, Nick, very important for us to see these pictures close up. Thank you very much there from Porto Velho.